Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Bob, Trade Genius. It's the 6th of January. Sorry I didn't do a video yesterday. I was working on some other projects, but I also struggled with what to talk about actually, and so I want to just go through my charts. I was looking at the gold miners, silver miners, industrial metals and miners, and either everything is just way overbought or just not ready for prime time. And I think we're probably topping in gold and silver for this run that we had. This run went from November on, so just don't want to jump on too many things here. So I thought I'd just blast through my charts here. Let me get off this stupid screen. Here we go. So I'm going from top to bottom volume wise, and so I'd follow about 27-30 stocks. And then if I miss anything, I'll just pull them up individually. But looking at SPY here is that, so it retraced back to the underside of the 2018 lows. So now we're in a situation where we a decision is going to have to be made, and it got stoned there too. So man, and just the world is just like has two minds at this point. You know, it's like some people are thinking back to all-time highs again. Other people think it's going to hit and crash. My personal view is I think this is going to be resistance, but you know, it's just hard to say. You know, what was weird last week is that the moves were bigger than the volatility suggested they should be. So there was obviously external actors engaged because it wasn't really natural. You know, traders looking at their normal parameters. So definitely was ambush city. You know, on Friday they wanted it to go up regardless of who said what. I think they just heard what they wanted to hear. But now we're testing the underside from a technical standpoint. This is classic. So if we fall from here, it's perfectly normal. If we push through from here, then we probably can expect another move higher. This is a 100-period moving average for me. This is the 50. Okay, and so you know, we'll see what happens. But it's interesting. The slow stochastics are still on the lower half. The fast obviously shot up, and then you know everything else is still saying, hey, I wouldn't buy SPY here. GDX is what I want to talk about, is that it's flirting with, you know, 5% above its 50-day moving average. This is pretty big for an ETF. Okay, it's pushed up pretty hard. We've had this run up since November, and it's probably going to look to take a take a breather here. And so if, you know, depending on how you like to trade your positions, you know, this is a volatility stops. You know, you could follow that up. Don't know if I'd want to give, you know, that much away. The stochastics are still embedded, and but it's something to keep an eye on, and you may want to start taking some profit on it. Volatility is finally giving way. VXX goes away. I don't know if it's the end of this month or the end of February, but VXX is going away, and so they're slowly getting rid of these volatility products for retail. I don't know what that's going to mean for the market, but it takes a tool away from us, of course, and be able to trade it. But it's been really strong. And VXX looks at future volatility contracts, doesn't look for volatility for today. That's why this was so stubborn. In December, it wouldn't go down because they were looking at people still were protecting into January. And so it's finally given away, but like I said, it's going to go away here pretty soon. Okay, IWM looks the same as SPY. Same answer for me. So FCX is still underside the 100, and but it's putting itself in a position here. Is it trying to do a round at bottom? Do we have another round down? But this is pretty beaten up, and so I prefer it to get over 100 at this point. It did this last time, see, and it rejected it, and I like to see this thing start to turn higher before I get too interested in it. FCX and Rio, they're more like economic growth indicators, and they're still saying that we're slowing down. This is Barrick Gold. I own some Barrick Gold, and now it's GOLD, and it slipped underneath its 100 moving average. But this is kind of weird because of the it just completed an acquisition, and so we'll have to see how this plays out. But if you like this one, this is the gold miner that I enter along with Goro, you know, and my two silver stocks, AG and Pan American Silver, are the ones I always try to take positions in when I can. And it's saying, hey, right now, if it jumps this trend dot here, you know, you might want to think about getting into it. And but otherwise, if you're a long term on this thing, you're still holding it, and it's, you know, it's not overvalued, but it's just not doing anything here because of the acquisition. So, you know, one of two things: let this come down to you, or if it breaks back up over the 100 on a closing basis, you might want to think about getting back in. GDXJ, it's I put in the same category as GDX. It's over 5% over its 50 moving average. This pushed pretty hard. A lot of the junior miners got ramped hard, and I think it was because of the, you know, the Friday activity. But I think this thing is starting to get a little toppy here. This is a little parabolic, if you know what I mean. And so, not to say it can't push it even higher, but I think it's going to start coming back in. So if you own it, just be careful. Okay, I'm holding SH calls for the 17th. I've been selling put spreads underneath it, and so my view is that I think this is going to hold. And now you know my bias. I think the market's going to roll back down, and I think we're gonna retest the lows here. Okay, on Friday, this was the Powell move here. You know, this is a fear indicator anymore, and so this was like kind of relief. It's still holding, but if you're in the long bonds here, you know, this is, again, this move here was pretty extraordinary. And if you notice, the bonds and gold all went together, so just be careful, because it looks like bonds and gold are risk off, which we've always talked about. And so if they roll this market over, you know, and gold goes down, but bonds stay higher, then we're looking at a totally risk off event. If gold and bonds go back up again with the market selling off, then it's just still cyclical. You get really worried if the metals and miners go down with the market at this point, because then it's sniffing out deflation. Here's Goldcorp. Like I said, if you're long term, you're still in it. This is indicating to me take profit, and so no position in it right now for us. Okay, we have Digital Power. We're in it from 12 cents, and like I said, I think this thing's going to push up. This is totally a lotto play. I like trying to do 1 or 2 or 3 of these if I can, and I'm looking for it to push up and try to tag this 100 moving average. And so, but you know, if you want to sell it at 14 on Monday, you know, you got yourself a 17% gain on it. I think I have to do the math on it, or 8%, whatever it is. First Majestic, okay, so it's hitting the underside of its fib lines that I calculated from 2018, and it's being held here right now. I think it's going to pull back, and right now my buyback price is still in this range here. I'm just going to wait. I think it's going to settle back down before it takes its next move higher. But this thing really definitely got overbought, and like I said, I sold mine at 590. You know, right as this dip was happening, and I didn't buy back in on this push higher. Okay, natural gas is interesting. So it's definitely under 100-day moving average. I think this is going to be a tradable bottom here, and so I'm keeping an eye on if I get a move on the double confirmation of stochastics here, I'm probably going to take a shot at this one, because we're going to go into 6 to 8 weeks of really cold weather, Europe and the US. Definitely global solar minimum activity, and I think there's probably a 10% move in here. So just keep an eye on that one, but I think it's a good trade. And if you want to take it now and take a sell stop at 23.90, I think that'd probably be a good risk reward. Okay, CCJ pushed up with oil here. It's still just trading in a range, and I prefer this thing now to get over 100, and I want to trade it from the upside like I did earlier when it was doing this. Just push down here, still saying quite not ready for prime time. Pan American, I'm still in it, and I'm just going to go ahead and just move my stops up on it, but it's pretty solid. UEC, we're in UEC though, small cap, pushing up. It's pretty much, we bought at 132. It just hasn't done much, but again, this is a small cap lotto for me, and I'm looking for this thing to actually move up a lot over the next 6 to 8 months. This one I'm watching. This is a vanadium producer with uranium. This is new, not holding, but on my watch list. And like I said, once it starts climbing up, China put export controls on their vanadium, and very few places. Vanadium is usually found with uranium, and so there's only one pure play in the U.S. And I'm of the mindset that I think the next big trade war is going to be in strategic metals, and so that U.S. producer is going to become quite valuable over time. So it's something to put on your list. And I think it's going to be a nice stock to hold. Trade it too, but I think it'll be a good one to hold for the long term. And then Goro's slowly coming out of its rounded bottom here. Had a little bit of a pushback. It held above the lows, and now it's going to start dancing with its 100-period moving average. And I'm in it. I'm holding it. I already doubled my position in it, so I'm in and stuck, and I'm staying with it, and produces a dividend, so it'll pay me to wait. But this one will come back up into this range here. You will be rewarded with Goro here on the next bull cycle. The yen, see, this is the other thing that got me a little worried. The yen was also a risk off, and it pushed back. Usually when they start selling the yen off, it's not good for gold, miners, or oil, or the bonds. And I don't know if this was just a reaction to Friday, or if this is going to be sustained. So keep an eye on FXY. If you always want to know or get a sense for what you think is going to happen with the metals, miners, and oil, is this one right here. Okay, watch marijuana stock. It's under its 100, so I think its Momo days are probably over. Okay, this is another small cap uranium miner that I'm watching. I have no position in it and not yet viable. Ura's the ETF, and lithium we put a buy order in on that, and so now we're waiting to see if this thing will push up. This got pushed down pretty hard, and see if we get an opportunity for it to run up to $29 area. Okay, we're in PLG. It's a lotto that we're holding, and like I said, I will pull out of it once it gets over $2. And then this is a nickel miner. I'm not in it. I'm just trying to understand it a little bit. It's a smaller volume, but it seems to move pretty well, and I'm just keeping an eye on it, trying to understand a little bit better. But it definitely looks viable, and it definitely has a future, semiconductors and in electric transportation. We're in soybeans. We've had a nice run. We're profitable on the trade, moving stops up, and if it gets up to the $17 area, I think I put a target at 1675. I have to look. But anywhere in this area here, take profit. In the meantime, I'm moving the stops up on it. But we're nicely profitable on the trade. Cobalt's another one for the electric, extremely low volume, so not too much liquidity in this. But again, I'm waiting for the recognition event for all things electric, and I don't know, we may have to wait a year or two, but I want to definitely keep it on my watch list because that's where the world's going to go, and not because of global warming. Quite frankly, it's going to be because currencies are going to start to collapse around the world, and people are going to have a hard time paying for importing oil. India is a classic example. India was really struggling when oil prices went higher, and they just don't have the exports to match what they need to import for oil. So they're going electric hard. I think between them and China, 150 nuclear power plants. And they're desperately trying to reduce their oil dependency. So the only way that they're going to be able to do that is electric vehicles, and they're going to need cobalt to do it. And then back to SPY. Anyway, thanks for listening, and if I missed anything, put it in the comments. I'll be happy to address it. But I went through all the metals and miners, and nothing jumped out at me of like, hey, I have to buy this thing, or hey, wow, we better bail out of the position that we're in. Catch you guys later. Have a good week. Bye-bye.